Hi guys, today we're going to be working on this heavenly blue water marble as part of my Addicted to Color series. So if you'd like to see how I did it, just stay tuned. We'll be starting out, of course, with a base coat, and as usual, I'm going to be using Ready for Takeoff, and you can use whichever base coat is your favorite. Next, I'll be adding a base color, and that's just to make sure that the marble's nice and opaque. And I'm using Breezy Blue, which is also one of the colors that I'll be marbling with. Next, I'm going to protect around my nails. I'm using Simply Peel, and if you don't have Simply Peel, you can pick up some regular latex at like Party City, or if you have a latex allergy, you can certainly still use tape. Tape was perfectly fine for a long time before we got all these cool peel-off protective things, so that's up to your personal preference. I'm going to start off my bullseye with Breezy Blue, which was my base color, followed by Babe Blue, then Royal Hue, then Pacific Blue, Thinking of Blue, and Deep Sea Blue. And I'm going to go ahead and add another drop of each of these. All of the colors are Sally Hansen, and 5 of them are from the Hard as Nails Extreme Wear line. Thinking of Blue is from the Complete Salon Manicure line. So I'm just going to wrap this up with 2 drops of the Deep Sea Blue in the middle so that it doesn't get lost as we start drawing. I'm going to pull this out just a little bit off to the side here. And then I'm going to start off by going up to the top and down to the bottom and then out to each side. Then I'm going to go in between each of those, and once I'm done with that, I'm going to start drawing in toward the center. Want to always use a very light touch, and then when 2 sides meet, I'm going to give a little dip just to clean up the middle. Trying to keep this one clean as I go, because in my testing, if I just waited till the end, was turning out with a little bit of a bald spot, so it's easier to do it as I go along. I got just a couple more strokes here. One from this side. Actually, see, this little guy isn't all the way to the middle. Just go ahead and pull him, her, it, whatever, and finish with one more like that. For dipping, I think I'm going to go ahead and do 3 nails at a time, and I'm just going to aim kind of the middle in between petals for my middle nail and hope the other 2 get in there decently. Kind of cross my fingers here and dip. Don't know if you could see that. Sometimes when I dip multiple nails, it's hard to keep from covering up the camera, but you just want to make sure the surface is completely clear. You can go ahead and slowly pull out, and that is better than I expected. I'm gonna just move the cup here and zoom in. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel off my Simply Peel before, whoa, that was a close call. Sometimes with Simply Peel in particular, dipping multiple nails can get dangerous when you remove it, but I seem to have magically avoided disaster. I'm going to use a Q-tip and polish remover on the bigger spots, and then I'm going to use my cleanup brush to just get in a little closer around the edges, any little spots that need to get cleaned up. And if you want to know the kind of brush I use or you missed any of the colors, that's always listed down in the information box. I'm going to finish everything off with top coat. As usual, I'm using Sèche Vite. And I did just want to mention kind of a case of do as I say, not as I do, to really avoid that kind of near disaster like I had with my fingers stuck together. Just go ahead with the scissors and cut your fingers apart before you start trying to peel off the latex. Or, of course, you can go ahead and just dip one finger at a time. Could try and dip your fingers without getting them stuck together, but that is something that I don't think I've ever managed. So my recommendation is just to be aware of it and be very careful, because I'm really lucky that that didn't do more damage than it did. So here's the finished manicure, and although I felt like I was kind of on the edge of disaster the whole time, I really like how it actually finally turned out. The smudges aren't in areas where they're too noticeable, and really they're my own fault for not being a little bit more careful removing the Simply Peel. You can see here on my pinky as well as on my middle finger and also over on this pinky. And I think part of that is just being out of practice, since I haven't actually done a marble since Water Marble March. To show you guys a couple of my test swatches, these were the first couple I did. These aren't the exact final colors that I ended up using, but one of these was going from lightest to darkest. The other was from darkest to lightest. And if you're having trouble with your colors spreading, sometimes just reversing the order that you're dripping them in the cup can affect how they spread. So that's the simplest change you can always make. I gave a try with a little bit of a spiral design, and the polishes really were not cooperating for that. This one you barely can tell that it's supposed to be a spiral, and this one you can see the spiral a little bit more, but the darkest blue really took over the whole design. I also did a try with white over a darker blue base. I thought I might get a color that turned out to be light blue, but it managed to hold on to its opacity and still looked white, so I decided not to include that in the final design. I have used a white in the past in my Addicted to Color series. I think it was the green one, but it must have been a different white, because that one did do what I wanted it to and turned into a very light version of the color. And if you've seen the rest of the series, I'd love to know which color is your favorite so far. And if you haven't seen the rest of the series, I will include a link down in the information box so you can check that out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm going to try and get another patriotic design finished before the 4th of July. And I also still have a couple reciprocal gradients that are on my mind. So be sure to subscribe to be notified when I upload those. And as always, thanks for watching.